Welcome back. Time to get to the markets now with Will Ebong. Markets resume today, and Will has green. Perhaps that's a hint.
Yeah, when you wear green, there's something that just comes upon you. It's just you're flowing in green pastures. Definitely the markets resumed. As like, so I was actually thinking I'll see profit taking maybe after the Muslim holiday, all the salah, the meat, and everybody wants to come back, to the grind. But I just saw that, there's more green in the market, and though we saw some downturns from, MTN Nigeria, just a bit of profit taking.
Yeah, I mean, MTN really surged last week, so it's very expected
that you see profit taking in that, and maybe Aradel and the rest of it. But all in all, overall, the market is still in the green, and we hope that the market closes in the green. I don't want to wear this for nothing. Anyways, the major stock markets in Africa resumed from the Muslim holiday with positive sentiment. Nigeria's NGX was trading about 0.25%. GSE in South Africa was also in positive territory, 0.3% up. Elsewhere, Egypt's EGX also in green territory at about 0.7%. You're going to have that on the screen. Meanwhile, Nairobi Securities Exchange, which resumed trading yesterday, which is Monday, traded up. That was what it closed with yesterday, nearly 1%. But let's dive into what's happening at the NGX and what stocks investors are buying or fading, as we resume from the holiday. Joining us is Oluwatobi Adesanya, equity trader at Zcrest Securities Limited. Good afternoon, Oluwatobi. It's good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Toby, the market has resumed. I was discussing with Enid. I was expecting some profit taking, but yeah, there is a profit taking, but not as significant as I was not saying I'm hoping, but just MTN Nigeria, we see some, profit taking there at Aradel. Why investors still very bullish even after all the spending?
Yes, I mean, like you mentioned, it's profit taking. Even if you look at last week's performance, it was largely positive, especially Thursday, which was the last trading week that we had last week. The performance was very positive. In fact, one will expect that starting the new week, investors will start taking profits. However, we are even seeing more demands in the market. Like you mentioned, MTN earlier, at the beginning of the market, MTN was not down, but at some point, MTN lost about 2%. And in fact, the demand for MTN corporately is even about 7 times more than what we have on offer. So that shows that even as there are people that are maybe taking profits, there are other investors that are highly interested in coming into the market.
Okay, so for MTN Nigeria in particular, what's really driving it? What's news in the market is pushing investors into that? Yes, we did know that the rate tariffs are higher now, and there have been some, news here and there. But what in particular is driving investors to buy more of MTN Nigeria at this moment?
So I would say majorly fundamentals, because as of March Q1, if you look at from the beginning of the year, MTN started the year with, for as low as 200 naira. But right now, if you look at it, it's already trading above 300 naira. So people are looking at fundamentals, and their Q1 results, being in the positive zone after recording loss, all through last year. So that also gives investors some level of confidence that things are getting better. Even macroeconomic indicators are getting better, and hopefully ahead of Q2 results too. So we are seeing investors taking position. So it's more of fundamentals, that I would say is driving MTN. And like we also saw in Airtel's results, which is a major competitor for MTN. So Airtel also results was not bad. So we are seeing renewed hope and interest in the telecommunication sector. So MTN is majorly fundamentals.
Okay, for Aradel, it's a bit, well, I want to say the stock is a bit here and there, because investors seem to, since it listed on the NGX, investors seem to not care so much about it because it keeps losing in the market. Yeah, it gains today and loses the next minute. We did see that rally because of, the dividend payout, 22 naira per share. But after that, we're seeing profit taking. Is Aradel overpriced in the market?
So for Aradel, I would say if you look at the history of Aradel on the NGX, it was trading on NASD before it's listed on NGX, and there are people who have gotten it at a very low price. In fact, if some people say sell as 200, 300, 400, they will still be making profits on it. So in as much as the price is going down, there are people who would still want to sell because they enter into the stock at a very low price. So which means, so for the stock not coming on to the NGX, so we have been seeing it for a while now at around 500 levels, 490, 500, 520, thereabouts. So in as much as there are people taking profits, there are also people buying into it. And like I said, so many investors that bought it from NASD. It was very low as at that point. So now, so it would always be a good point for them to exit because they got it at a very low price.
Okay, but Aradel was projected to match his pairs like, say, Seplat and Total Energies, but we're not seeing it moving in that direction, that trajectory. Do you think it's going to hit 1,000, maybe say this year? What, is it going to be trading at 500 levels for, we don't know, for how long?
So, when Aradel listed, I mean, we saw it traded for about 800 Naira. I mean, as far as high as 800 Naira before it started declining. So, I mean, like the stocks you mentioned, like Seplat and the like. So, if we look at their own trajectory, I mean, they did not just get to like 1,000 level at a go. So, there was a kind of trajectory. So, looking at Aradel, like I mentioned, it came from a different platform, which is NASD. So, now being on the NGX, so there are people who have bought it lower and they want to take profits. However, but if you look at the fundamental aspect, I mean, it's a company that we are hoping that, I mean, they are big of fundamentals, and we are hoping that fundamentals would drive the company. I would say for a long term, it's a good stock to have for a long term. But just that during the short term, we'll be seeing a lot of buying and selling, trading activities that might drive the price upwards today or down tomorrow. But over a certain period of time, we'll see it go up.
Are there any dark horses in the market? Because sometimes in the middle of the year, at the end of the year, you see a stock skyrocket probably 1,000%, and then you're wondering, where was it before? So is there any stock in the market now investors should be looking at and saying, oh, this is a dark horse, I should be picking this stock up, or I should be watching this stock? Is there any stock like that in the market that investors, right now, stocks are at overbought levels, like the ASI is climbing up to 115,000. Do we see any stock, that has not probably gained as much in value, but there is still growth potential for that stock as we speak?
So I won't mention any stock in particular. I'll just give some color as to what to look out for, because there's always opportunities in the market. So if one could take time and maybe do some research or reach out to their stockbrokers, there are always stock with potential and opportunities. It's just that, let's say, a stock that will move today, most likely you might not know yesterday. So, but if you are doing your research, your fundamental analysis, and you are seeing that, yes, this stock would most likely go up, and it has that, that potential to appreciate in terms of price, and looking at the dividend returns as well. So it is just better to position ahead of the long term. So not like someone coming to the market because, oh, I need a stock that will give me 1,000 returns in the next 1 month or next week. So it is also important to look at the fundamentals of the stock, because it's a very major factor in the market.
Okay, so first trading day after the Muslim holiday, Toby, what are you seeing? The market is in the green right now, but do you think we'll get a reversal and go to the red? But if not, how do you see the market closing, and what stocks are investors trading currently to move the market either to the green or red?
Okay, I mean, stocks that I can say that investors are trading on every right now, I'll say banking names. For example, GT4. So it's currently the most traded stock in terms of volume and value. So as regards market direction, all things being equal, so I expect the market to close in the green, because when the market opened this morning, the ASI gained as high as 60 basis points. So before we saw decline in MTN, Aradel. So currently it's around 20 levels. So barring any decline in any bellwether stock, so I expect the market to close in the green.
We'll hold that. We'll hold to that projection, and we'll meet at the close of business. Toby, thank you so much, Oluwatobi Adesonya, equity trader, Zcrest Securities. Always good to have your perspective.
Thanks so much for having me.